But Nathan, I actually wanted to revisit something that you brought up, that you said you took issue with. The Chiefs did have to play in that game on Saturday night in frigid temperatures. And as we saw, the Bills game was postponed due to the snow and the similar low temperatures, and it was still then ended up being played last night. Talk about that. I think we should discuss it. I for one am okay with it. Yeah, I mean, I think there's all these years of study where we know how to prepare for said situation, and part of the reason you have an open stadium, in my opinion, is for that effect, to get the other team off kilter because it is so cold and you're used to it. But share your thoughts on it. And I'll let Cameron talk about that after that.
So I felt as though, for what I saw, the temperature, I mean, I'm all like, I don't mind the cold weather at all. It doesn't really affect me. I mean, it can to a certain extent, but it doesn't really bother me. But I'm talking about weather. Like when you see like below 30, you got to think about player, because last time I checked, and I see this all the time, we emphasize player safety for the player association. Okay.
You're right.
And when I saw him go, well, that shouldn't have been helmet to helmet, but when I saw it, like that's kind of what I was kind of wanting to avoid. Now, psychologically, does that bother the other team? Sure. I mean, Miami, I know for historically does not play well in colder climates.
Warm weather team. Yeah.
Even though I could have sworn the one year was the Dan Marino fake spike one that was in a colder climate, if I'm not mistaken.
It might have been in New York.
New York.
It might have been. It might have been in the Meadowlands in New Jersey, actually.
So, I mean, I think just more from.
But that is Dan Marino as well.
Yeah, that's true. But I'm just saying from a player's, because again, from a player safety standard, I kind of look at those things. But they were prepared. They had all the hot chocolate, the bone broths, and different things like that. But I just. You have to think about also the traveling too. I know we're talking about with the Bills, but I wouldn't mind if at least was postponed. At least it was a little warmer. Like I say, you shouldn't play no more than like 1 degree. If you're playing below -30, it feels like -30, like you're talking frostbite. You're talking cramps. You're talking a lot. You're talking injuries, and unfortunately, injuries are part of the game. I know some people may look at that and go like, "Man, that's soft." But no, if we're talking player safety, those are things I take consideration. And then also too, like, I felt bad for the fans because every time you take a water out the fridge, it will just freeze, even beer. So that's
no point. It's no fun now.
There's no fun in that. I mean, other than. You're sitting there watching the game, and this one guy, he literally, I hope the guy's okay. He was shirtless. He was a Dolphins fan, shirtless, and I'm sitting there going like, watch, like they showed it. I think it was going in commercial break. Like, that's brave.
Yeah,
because I'm not taking off my coat or jacket.
No, not doing it. Not doing it.
I mean, but to kind of sum it all up, I was because Robert Griffin III. Actually was like, he was on Twitter because I'm more on Twitter. He was advocating that it should have been postponed. If the Dolphins game, if the Bills and Steelers game should have been moved, then sort of should that game. So,
well, I understand. I don't know. We talked about back and forth, if I agree or not. But Cameron, I'll come to you as far as you made a very valid point on player safety, and if we really are about these players and them being safe, that's a situation that is not a great one. You being out there and these are sub-zero temperatures, you know what I mean? And you're out here and that you could really genuinely, I mean, we've seen people have serious issues in this weather. So what are your thoughts on it? I mean, have you ever played in a turkey bowl or anything like that where it's frigid outside and you're just catching it? I'm down.
Yeah, I was actually at the Woodbridge Westfield game. It was 13 or 15 up here. I think that it was like a couple years ago, and I was in the stands, and I was like, "Oh no, I gotta go to the car."
Yeah.
I'm going to the car. Yeah, I'm going to the car. No, I'm going. It was, and I guess, and I was throwing the football around, trying to get warm. After a while, like maybe after like 15, 20 minutes, the football got hard. I was like, oh,
Mm-hmm.
yeah. So I was like, oh yeah, it's. But I guess in the cold for me, I guess it's like my hands get cold. And once my hands get cold and my feet get cold, and I'm like, nah, it's over now.
That's yeah. And so, and to some extent, like I said, that's an advantage for certain teams. If you cannot, it's a mental thing. If you can't brave the cold, you see Tyreek coming out before the game talking about with no shirt on, talking about, yeah, look at me. And then if you let that clip go, he says, hey, give me that jacket, man. Give me that. It's cold out here. Give me that.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So it's not. It's definitely something. It's definitely an advantage if you can handle it. But if we are talking player safety, that is something that we do need to address in due time.